Okay, we are 2 minutes into the seminar, and I can see many participants have already joined. Some of them will be joining us. Firstly, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you all are joining. I can see that we have had an extremely positive response. We have had people registering from different parts of the world for this webinar on different time zones. So thank you everyone for taking the time from your busy schedule and joining this webinar. This will be one of the first webinars for 2025. Well, we will be focusing today on the behavioral, operational, competency assessment verification, the BOCAV. In today's webinar, we will be focusing mainly on this one. I will be the host and the moderator for this webinar. I will encourage and request all the viewers and participants to please put the questions in the chat. And during the Q&A, I would ask the questions to the speakers so that we can have a good and an interactive webinar for today. Without further ado, let me just briefly introduce Maritime Trainer. Maritime Trainer, we are mainly focusing on a digital human element and learning company. Our main motto is to assess, train, and retain. And this we are doing by providing different digital services to our crew, vessel owners, and ship managers. This is the founding team. As you can see, today we have been joined by majority of the team. Myself, I'm a chief engineer by background, and I'm presently working as the chief revenue officer at Maritime Trainer. We also have the main founder, Captain Ozgur, joining us for the webinar, and Captain Engin, who's the co-founder, joining for the webinar today. The whole focus of Maritime Trainer was to make a platform which is for the seafarers, by the seafarers. This was the vision. And thanks to support of many of the customers who are also on the webinar today, which I can see, some of you all I personally know, and I have met them many a times. We have expanded globally. Here you will see a glimpse of some of the regions where we have offices physically, and in some locations we have representations. Personally, I am based in Hamburg, Germany, and I once again welcome you to the webinar. So, as I mentioned before, our motto is basically focused on assessing, training, and retaining the crew. We are part of the Intertanko, and the entire platform of Maritime Trainer is approved by Bureau Veritas. And we also are certified by the ISO 27001. So if you ask me in one slide what Maritime Trainer stands for and does, would be this slide, and I will let Captain Ozgur explain a little bit more here.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for this excellent introduction, Ashish. Let me tell what we are doing. As Ashish mentioned, for last 10 years, we are trying to assist in community to meet especially industrial requirements, starting with TMSA, and now we have SIRE, and we have right ship requirements. Whatever we have done till now is just getting these standards and letting ship owners and managers saying yes to most of the questions related to human factor and development and training of their crew. So we not only added the things mentioned there, but also we created our own way of meeting these requirements by adding some extra modules and content to our platform. It's a complete online and offline platform, by the way, and it starts with a job application. I will be as brief as possible because today's subject is BOCAV, and I will go and finalize with BOCAV. So the module, as I mentioned, have some additional features that helps companies first to assess the most valuable assets of their company, the crew properly. And while doing so, we are trying to also ease their hand to have the applications online, making the assessments with a proctoring system with a unique question bank. So in the left part, you see the job application part, which can be tailored to the application process of the companies and is working together with a proctoring system, working with vision analytics, which will filter the unqualified seafarers, both coming from directly to you applying or from your crewing agents, as we also train your crewing agents or operators on using it. So whoever coming as an applicant will be filtered from the platform with a proper elimination system, assessments, and the KPIs we have set. And it is also working with our assessment platform, by the way. We have various kinds of assessments, also meeting requirements like aptitude profiling, personality test, competency assessments, maritime English test with pronunciation evaluation. And also we do have a comprehensive reporting that you can make a training need analysis or gap analysis. When it comes to learning part, we have more than 700 topics in our library at the moment in a blended approach. We are trying to attract the new generation's learning styles and their curiosity to trigger learning. And we are trying to improve the learning experience as much as possible. And for this purpose, our first aim is to meet the industry requirements. So there are lots of training topics mentioned in these standards, you know. So we have technical, soft skill, and mental health courses prepared interactively. And they can be a very basic documentary training for your SMS. It can be a 2D or 3D animated learning environment. It can be AR-based serious game or digital twin-based course. We are also in line with Shell for partners in safety courses. We do also convert them into interactive learning environment and in a scenario-based environment, which will also facilitate the training sessions much more effectively. We also create micro-training, and we also have a customized onboarding model, including your company, your culture, and SMS altogether. And we also have cloud simulation integration, which also we will explain later in a separate webinar. When it comes to performance and retain part, there are lots of new topics that we have developed. And first of all, it's a it's an umbrella under our competence management system. We have the BOCAV now, which is a combination of BOCAV and ICMG. And we also support it with our MT Care module, which we will have another SAM webinar for that. With the pulse surveys, we can measure the mental, social, and physical state of the crew, and also recommend something else. And we can also offer mentoring under our competence management system. But today's topic is BOCAV, so I would like to also tell some about what we have done through BOCAV. But this platform, the whole platform, is working online, offline, and also we have mobile apps. And with the help of data visualization and analytics tool, now we have comprehensive BI dashboards that can show you the detailed analytics and recommend you some additional actions to act proactively. So we have the BOCAV and ICMH, two separate guides that should be maybe prepared together, because even when you read the guides, you can say that the BOCAV and ICMG complement each other, and that they can be used together. But at the moment, we see different applications on the measurement of competencies on technical and soft skills part. The reason these guides have come to the industry by Intertanko and OCIMF initiative is to prevent the incidents and accidents, which mainly are caused by human factor. And when we check the reason of this human factor is the competencies. And when we define competencies, it is the knowledge plus skills multiply attitude, values, and behavior. So we cannot separate them. So we thought it would be better to measure them together. So when we check the ICMG, there are 72 criteria, performance criteria there, under 4 operations: navigation, mooring, cargo, and engineering. And so we have embedded these 4 main categories and 72 topics and combined it with the BOCAV, which have 6 main domains like team working, communication and influencing, situational awareness, decision making, result focus, leadership, and management. We have combined them because even in BOCAV, it says that you need to measure these main domains while these operations are executed. It can be done on the job, or it can be done in the simulated environment. So we had worked a lot on these guides. We combined these assessment methodologies, and we created BOCAV. So we call it BOCAV because Behavioral and Operational Competency Assessment and Verification, the definition is. And okay, we are measuring these competencies both on the technical and soft skill part, but what we do? What we do, Captain Engin will tell you in detail, but before letting the words to him, we also worked on our library. We linked all our courses with the relevant competencies. And whenever the assessment is completed, you can set KPIs for every rank. And if these competencies are not met, or before a promotion, you would like to add some additional competencies to the crew, you can also see the gaps and recommended courses from our library to top up these competencies. And even the assessor, which is already taken necessary training from the platform also, they can also make some comments and like this guy needs some mentoring on this, or this guy needs to have a BRM training, ship handling training, whatever. They can also make their comments, and also individuals, the assignee can make their own feedbacks over the evaluations. So they will see the evaluation and they will see what is going on their competency development and maybe act immediately to improve his competency. So these are the things that I would like to touch. As I mentioned, it's a 45 minutes webinar, and I would like to also leave some space for Engin, our Chief Operating Officer, to tell the live system, how it works, and relevant industry standards. Also, I would like to have your questions. Thanks, Ashish, and I will leave it to Engin now.
Now, thank you, Captain Özgüren. Thank you, distinguished participant. I shortly explain these guides, and then I will continue with the live system. First of all, the first one is behavioral competency assessment and verification for vessel operator. This guide is generated jointly with BOCAV and Intertanko, and there are 6 main domains in this behavioral competency assessment guide. These main behavioral domains also is important. The first one, teamwork, communication and influencing, situational awareness, decision making, result focus, leadership, and also leadership and managerial skills. Each domain consists of sub-elements, and every element has positive and negative indicators also. We convert all these indicators to yes, no question in our BOCAV module. I will explain also in the live platform also. And in this guide also, there are some example and sample for the ship operator additionally. And second one is competency management guides. It's not only for behavioral, but also especially for technical and operational skills. And there are lots of references refers to the behavioral competency assessment verification in this Intertanko competency management guidance also. So we discuss and decide, we combine both requirement in our BOCAV module. We create a comprehensive BOCAV module in our platform. And The other important point, I think maybe most important part, is now SIRE required behavioral competency assessment program directly. Before SIRE, of course, the Intertanko and OCUMF generate these guides, and they only it's a recommendation for the companies. And also there are some items in TMSA KPI 3.4.1. TMSA KPI required the procedure to assess crew members for job competency. Also, there are different type of assessment. Also, Captain Özgür introduced some of them: psychometric test, computer-based assessment, scenario-based simulator. But for BOCAV, especially for BOCAV also, the main part is real operation and scenario-based evaluation. During the superintendent visit or the senior officer, they can make an assessment also. So there is a specific question SIRE 2.0 ask. The most important part maybe for the tanker companies: has the vessel operator implemented a behavioral competency assessment program on board, and was there evidence available that assessments were being conducted for navigation, cargo, mooring, engineering operation, and the important part is approved assessor. So we took all these references, we check SIRE, TMSA, and both of these guides, and we prepared our behavioral operational competency assessment and verification. Also, in SIRE, there are some guidance for the auditor and assessor, potential grounds for a negative observation. There was no evidence that there was a functional behavioral competency assessment and verification program in operational on board. So we provided BOCAV for this. And behavioral competency assessment verification program did not cover navigation, cargo operation, mooring operation, and engine operation. So it is completely prepared for these four main categories. And onboard staff identified as approved assessors were not in possessions of the company defined training for approved assessor. Also, now we have a new computer-based training, e-learning training for behavioral competency assessor. And for every assessor, first of all, they need to complete this training. They should complete this training. Then company admin add this assessor to the assessor list. And there were no summary records available for the staff, including behavioral competency assessment verification program. Also, some of our clients also, they use the checklist now instead of any digital module. They use the inspection or assessment checklist. They add the question to the checklist. But as you know, the name of the behavioral BOCAV is the last one is a verification. The verification also important. So I will show the real system, and also we have a BI tools, and we keep all records, and you can easily compare all users, all candidates, especially before the promotion. And I would like to show a video, short videos, then I will show some part of our platforms.
The BOCAV module enables shipping companies to track and monitor the progress of seafarers over time, ensuring continuous development and alignment with industry standards. By providing personalized feedback and identifying skill gaps, it supports targeted training interventions that enhance both individual performance and overall operational efficiency. Once the operational assessment is completed, admins can view a detailed report. All competencies are scored under the domain as behavioral and operational. You can assign the recommended courses available in your company or contact us to purchase new courses.
Yes, I want to show some sample from our demo platform also about our BOCAV module. We, as I said, create a BOCAV module completely. You can manage the behavioral and operational competency assessment. This is the admin panel, and company admin and the vessel admin easily manage assigned the assessment to assessor, and also both assessor and assignee easily follow up their test and result also. Now you can search and you can find operation type, status of the assessment type. Also, we put the real operation and simulation, because before joining, especially, you can make the BOCAV, you can make an assessment with this module in simulation environment also. And it is very simple interface. Admin, vessel admin or company admin account easily create assessment. First of all, we need to select assessment type, and we can select the assessor. But before the assessor, we can see in this list, we should add the assessor to the list. So before adding to the list, all assessors need take to a training, approved training. We have a training in our platform. As you know, we approved from Blue Veritas as a Maritime Training Institute and Simulator Center also. So we can create an assessment in the platform. We can select our assessor. We can select our crew members. Then, as you know, there are 4 main operation type: mooring, cargo operation, navigation, and engineering. These 4 main operation types in both guides, in behavioral competency and also competency management guides, they called, for example, the competency management guide call is operational area, and the other guide is called operation function. So we combined both of the requirements in the BOCAV. Now we can select one of operation, and we can see the sub operation type, and we can select one of them easily. Also, you can see the count, how many times the BOCAV complete for this user and for the confined water. And you can see last assessment date additionally. And you can determine the location, operation date. If you want, you can add additional or assessors, and then and we can determine the end date and due date for completion. Then system create the assessment. And then I want to show the mobile interface of the user, especially. Sorry. Now from the now I create the assessment in our admin panel. Then the assessor login to his with his credential or credential, and in mobile app, especially during the operation, they can easily manage this BOCAV modular assessment. In mobile app, they can click the activities. There are different type of activities, and they can select the BOCAV task, and then they can also see the completed one and expired, in progress, not status. Up to status you can search, and then you can click to one of them and continue to assessment. Now in our platform, as I said, for behavioral parts, there are 6 domains, and one by one they fill the answer the question. All questions yes, no, and the last one is the not observed, because it's a we measure, we observe and assess a short time operation for 2 hours or 3 hours. So you can check the operation and you answer, for example, acknowledge cultural diversity in communication. And you evaluate, assess the real operation or simulation environment, then you click yes, no, or you can click the not observed. In the guide also, recommended, if you also, for example, select the communication and including not observed for example, for the deck cadet or for the rating, also you can use our BOCAV module. So you can paste this part, and you can write comment for main domains also. And one by one, you complete all this process, but you need to fill all parts. Let me pass. And finally, after the behavioral part, you can proceed with operational assessment, or maybe you can continue later, and then you can complete the operational part. Finally, system shows the result to you. Let me close this one. Yes. And on the other hand, you can see the completed reports in your page. And first of all, we have an overall score for both behavioral and operational, and 50% behavioral and 50% for operational. At the same time, you can see the behavioral and operational score separately. And you can see all detail of the assessor, assessment completion date, operation location, crew member names, details, ranks, and also comment of the assignee. And you can see the behavioral reports with the charts. You can see the strongest and weakest points of the user assignee. And also there are lots of details, and you can select and you can check the all parts one by one. It is user-based reports. Also, there is a more detailed reports in the platform in admin panel we can show. And in the admin panel, we can see more details reports for behavioral operational parts. But the most important part, also system automatically advise the recommended courses. And end of the test, let me summarize again. Now, in admin panel, there are lots of details for the result. Behavioral, operational result you can see and check. And additional, you can see the recommended courses. System automatically evaluate the result and then recommend some courses. And for e-learning training, you can automatically re-enroll training. And additionally, of course, maybe the user need the simulator training or mentoring or another trainings. You can also plan a training for the user in our training management module. System automatically assign this training to user, and also in the training management module, you can see the BOCAV assigned training also. So, end of the promotion stage, you can see all details of the crew or rank base or vessel base or fleet base. Let me show some example from our BI tools also. Now, it's a demo platform example. Now, there are some filters for BOCAV. You can select assign name, or you can select 1, 2, or more, and you compare each other. And also you can select the operation type, operation name, and also vessel, and also you can filter the date. So let me show some example. For example, maybe I can show from there. And for demo account, we complete some assessment. And for example, is chief officer, and you see the average of the users and also average of the chief officers. So you can easily compare. You can select one more. And you can compare each other, both of user. For example, both of them is chief officer. You compare before the promotion stage, you can easily take your decision. And also you can see the status of the users, and it is also important, advice skills to improve. For example, for demo account, mooring, result focus, and communication and influencing need to improve for technically for mooring and behaviorally for communication and influencing, and also for result focus. You can see the average score of the assignment and overall average, and also you can compare behavioral and operational, rank-based behavioral operational average. And additionally, there is a trend line also. Let me show. Yeah. There is a trend line, and you can also compare the average. Also, for example, for team working, you can easily see the last 6 months, and you can the main level 50%, and then you can see for individually or for the fleet also. There are lots of details, fleet-based, vessel-based, rank-based, and you can also, for example, cargo operation, you click the cargo operation, and then you can see the cargo operation result. Not only for SIN, but also we show the for assessors the same details. Also, you can check the assessor page, and you can compare the assessor, because some of assessor give the high score, some of them is low score. You can easily compare, especially for promotion stage. This BOCAV assessment can be very important. And in the guide, the last word is verification. You can easily verify it from both our BI tools and from also BOCAV modules.
Thank you, Captain Engin, for the very informative and detailed presentation. It was quite in depth. The chat function is open for everyone. If there are any questions or answer, what we will also do, as I mentioned earlier, is that we will be sharing the complete recording with all the registered participants. We will also share a link with a very small and brief survey, which will also have an option that if you would like to use the demo, because the proof is in the pudding, as we say, right? So if you would like to use a free demo, then we can also assign a free demo for BOCAV for yourself and your company managers, whoever you choose, so that you can test it within your organization. And maybe after testing, if there are any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will be happy to book a meeting and discuss them further. If there are any questions, now is the time. Please just write the questions. You can also use the chat function for any comments if you would have at this stage. Before we move on to the next step, which will be, I wanted to show you all about that. As I mentioned earlier in the webinar, this is one of the first webinars for 2025, and our goal is to use some of the key topics that the industry is discussing and what are the tools that we are making for our ship owners, and to present them on a monthly or a bi-monthly basis where we will cover different topics. So as a teaser for the next webinar, which we are planning in March, Captain Engin, can you just show the video of our empty care model? After the video, I will briefly explain what is the essence of that model.
Okay.
In the empty care model, we have different surveys in this model, where these surveys can be given by the different on different intervals to the crew members. Also, the surveys can be dedicated to specific ranks. So if you need a management level survey, the survey can only be assigned to the senior officers on board. With these surveys, the ship owner or the ship manager like yourself can get constant feedback on the vessel, and corrective actions can be taken in order to improve the operational efficiency and the engagement on board the vessels. So that is the empty care and survey model, which we will cover in the next month's topic. If there are no questions, then I will leave the floor to Captain Ozgur to wrap up. But before that, I would also like to inform and thank you once again, everyone. Today, we have had participants from more than 18 countries who have registered and in different time zones. So thank you very much for joining the webinar. And Captain Ozgur, the floor is to you.
Many thanks, Ashish. Yeah, I believe Orçun has just shared the form for just 1 minute survey to have your feedback about the webinar. Also, we can have your request for demo that we can enable you to see the details of the platform, live platform, over our demo users. Well, thanks a lot to everybody for the participation. Yes, as Ashish mentioned, it is the first leg of our webinar series, and we will continue with MT Care, with our new dashboard, fully integrated with the BI tools to give you more insights and enable you to give decisions over the data we collect. And then there will be another one about the MT Care and cloud simulation. So we would love to see more comments and questions also. Thanks for the participation again. We will be here to assist and answer your questions anytime, anywhere. See you in the next webinar. Thank you.